Hey, if you're one of the millions of Americans counting on Social Security, you need to hear this right now because November just brought some massive changes that could directly impact your wallet, and I'm talking about the official 2.8% cost of living adjustment that's about to hit your account, delayed payment schedules that might catch you off guard, and a completely revamped SSA calendar that you absolutely need to know about. If you want to stay ahead of these changes and never miss an important Social Security update, hit that subscribe button right now because we're breaking down everything you need to know in plain English. Let's start with the big news that everyone's been waiting for. The 2.8% cost of living adjustment for 2025 has officially been confirmed by the Social Security Administration. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. 2.8% doesn't sound like much, but let me put this into perspective for you. For the average retiree receiving about $1,927 per month, this translates to roughly an additional $54 every single month. That's about $648 more per year in your pocket. For couples who are both receiving benefits, you're looking at over $1,200 annually in additional income. Yes, it's smaller than the 3.2% increase we saw last year and nowhere near the massive 8.7% jump in 2023. But here's the thing: inflation has been cooling down, and this adjustment actually reflects the economic reality we're facing right now. The Social Security Administration calculates this increase based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, and the data from the third quarter of this year showed that while prices are still rising, they're doing so at a much slower pace than we saw during those crazy pandemic years. Now here's where it gets really interesting and where you need to pay close attention. The payment schedule for November has some unusual quirks that could mean you're getting your money on a different day than you might expect. The Social Security Administration has implemented some adjustments this month due to weekends and federal holidays falling on typical payment dates. If you started receiving benefits before May 1997, your payment traditionally comes on the 3rd of each month, but because of how the calendar falls this year, some of these payments have been shifted. For everyone else, your payment date depends on your birth date, and this is where the new schedule becomes crucial. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment typically arrives on the 2nd Wednesday. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, you get paid on the 3rd Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, you receive your benefits on the 4th Wednesday. But November has thrown a wrench into this system because of Veterans Day and how it impacts the banking system's processing schedules. Here's what you absolutely must understand about these delayed payments. When your scheduled payment date falls on a weekend or federal holiday, the Social Security Administration is required by law to issue your payment on the preceding business day. This sounds simple enough, but it's causing some confusion this month because multiple payment groups are being affected. Some beneficiaries are seeing their deposits arrive earlier than expected, which might sound like good news, but it can actually create budgeting challenges if you've got automatic payments scheduled for specific dates. The SSA has stated that they're working to minimize these disruptions, but the reality is that when federal holidays and weekends line up in certain ways, these schedule shifts are unavoidable. The key thing here is to check your specific payment date for this month and mark it on your calendar, because assuming your money will arrive on the same day it did last month could leave you in a tight spot if you're not prepared. Let me break down the new SSA schedule that's going into effect and what it means for you moving forward. The Social Security Administration has published an updated payment calendar that extends through the end of 2025, and there are several months where you'll see these kinds of adjustments. December is another month where you need to be particularly careful because of the Christmas holiday and how it falls on the calendar. January 2026 benefits will actually be paid in late December 2025 for many beneficiaries because of how New Year's Day impacts the payment schedule. The SSA has made this calendar available on their website, and I strongly encourage you to download it and keep it somewhere accessible because financial planning becomes so much easier when you know exactly when your money is coming in. This is especially important if you're living on a fixed income and every dollar needs to be allocated carefully. Now let's talk about what this 2.8% increase actually means in practical terms, because percentages are one thing, but real dollars in your bank account are what actually matter. For someone receiving supplemental security income, the maximum federal payment is going up to $967 for individuals and $1,450 for couples. For disabled workers receiving Social Security disability insurance, the average monthly benefit is increasing to approximately $1,575. If you're receiving retirement benefits, that average payment we mentioned earlier of $1,927 is jumping to about $1,981. For widows and widowers receiving survivor benefits, you're looking at an average increase from about $1,788 to roughly $1,838 per month. These numbers might seem modest, but when you're trying to keep up with rising costs for groceries, utilities, medications, and housing, every additional dollar makes a difference. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough but is absolutely critical for you to understand. While your Social Security benefits are increasing by 2.8%, your Medicare Part B premiums are also changing for 2025. The standard Part B premium is going up to $185 per month, which is an increase of about $10.30 from the current rate. For most beneficiaries, this premium is automatically deducted from your Social Security check, which means your actual net increase is going to be smaller than that 2.8% might suggest. If you're getting that $54 monthly increase but you're also paying an extra $10.30 for Medicare, your real increase is more like $43.70. I'm not trying to be a downer here, but it's important to have realistic expectations about what your actual take-home amount is going to be. The Social Security Administration sends out benefit statements in December that will show your exact new payment amount after all deductions, so keep an eye on your mailbox or check your online My Social Security account for that information. There are also some important deadlines and action items you need to be aware of as we move through November and into December. If you haven't already created a My Social Security account online, now is the time to do it. This free account gives you access to your benefit statements, lets you update your direct deposit information, request replacement documents, and check your payment history. The SSA has been pushing more and more services online, and while you can still call their customer service line or visit a local office, the wait times can be absolutely brutal. Having that online account gives you 24/7 access to your information without having to sit on hold for hours. If you need to report any changes to your income, living situation, or marital status, you need to do that as soon as possible because these factors can affect your benefit amount. Failing to report changes promptly can result in overpayments that you'll eventually have to pay back, and nobody wants to deal with that headache. Let's also address some changes to the earnings limit that affects people who are receiving benefits but still working. For 2025, if you're under full retirement age, you can earn up to $23,400 before your benefits start getting reduced. That's an increase from the current limit, and it means you have more flexibility to supplement your Social Security income with part-time work if you choose to do so. Once you reach full retirement age, there's no earnings limit at all, and you can make as much as you want without impacting your benefits. This is something that confuses a lot of people, so if you're in that situation where you're collecting benefits and considering going back to work or picking up some extra hours, understanding these limits is crucial for your financial planning. The bottom line here is that November has brought significant changes to the Social Security system that affect virtually every beneficiary in one way or another. That 2.8% cost of living adjustment is real money in your pocket, but you need to be aware of how Medicare premium increases and the new payment schedule might impact when and how much you actually receive. Take the time right now to log into your My Social Security account, check your specific payment dates for November and December, review your benefit statement when it arrives, and make sure your direct deposit information is current. These might seem like small administrative tasks, but they can save you from major headaches down the road. Social Security is likely a major part of your financial foundation, and staying informed about these changes isn't just smart, it's absolutely essential for your financial security and peace of mind.